her experience, and we ran some research with her this morning, and she's on board to be part of the team, and if good things go well, inshallah, we will be inviting her on board to join us. So this is where we look at things. Now, I grew up in a place called Oman. I was born and raised in Oman. I'm a little bit of means to Oman. If you do not know Oman, Oman is a place south of Dubai. You all know Dubai, right? Dubai, we call it in Arabic. So Oman, Sultan of Oman, is a very, very nice place. I grew up there, and my mother was an MOE teacher, Ministry of Education. So every day, we live in a city called Muscat. So my mother would leave us at 5 o'clock in the morning, and she would go to Barka, Rumes, Rastak, all the interiors. We call it the interiors. It means it's very far from the city. You cannot go on foot. You have to use the pickup. You know that we have the pickup trucks. So my mom would sit in the back of the pickup, and she would go. And this is how our life in education started, where we realized how deep it was. And she would teach in madrasa, in the local madrasa, and she would be very, very passionate. And now, the ladies do not teach the Omani boys, because it's a law that it's a gender-based. But before, my mother used to teach also the Omani boys, and my mother was very fierce. My mother would say, Yalla kul walad al yalla, and they would all come. They would all sit down, and my mother was very, very fierce. And I used to wonder, how could she keep the engagement of all these boys? And this is where I would like to draw the story of really bringing in the passion. And I, for a very long time, my colleagues and I have wandered around from school to school, from Oman to Dubai to Germany to India to China to Singapore to Malaysia, Vietnam. We have not been able to find that level of passion until we come to Pakem. And I'm not joking. So this is a very big applause to the teachers who represent you, and I have goosebumps as I speak, and I'm speaking with a lot of emotion right now, but I'm also speaking with a lot of pride, because I can see your products in your students, and I can see your value in the teachers that represented you for a very short time, but that was very uniquely powerful. A message that should not be limited just to these words, but it should go beyond these words. And I really salute each one of you as teachers. And that's where we start. Now, in today's world, our boss, her boss and my boss, who is the Dean of MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology in Boston, he talks about something. He tells us, you know what? Today the world, most of the world, education is a business. It's a $3 trillion business. So most of the people, unfortunately, they just come, repeat the problem, ask the students and leave. But they are unable to, what I would call, inspire, connect, engage. And this becomes a very big challenge, because the students, when you ask them, what do you want to be? None of the students would say, I want to be a teacher. I want to be an educator. Very few people would say. In the past, many would say, I would like, because it was a very honorable, very glorious position, very, very high level of, I would say, respect that goes to teachers. But today the problem is much more deeper. Today what we see as we walk around in the schools is the teachers have become powerless. They've become burdened by the pressures of academic administration, not of teaching, but of administration. They have also become lethargic, if I can say, tired by the volume of changes happening, management of kids, not even distinct from the kids. When we were in Bali, we met the teachers, and the teachers were sharing the problem. And again, the teachers talked about engaging. So our boss, I come back again to Dr. Hu from MIT, he tells us something very interesting. It's not his real name, we call him that so we can camouflage it. But we talk to him about, and when he tells us about engagement, he tells us the schools today, the books today, are unable to share the impact of learning because the books can only sell a destination. The journey is a hard game, and that is very difficult to sell. And that's why experiential learning is only in paper. It's very difficult to convert experiential learning to actual learning because it's not possible to sell it, and therefore it's difficult for people to say, what do you want to do this for? We believe strongly that this will be the future, that experiential learning will change everything, that you as teachers here in Pakem, you might be able to inspire the whole world. And I'm not joking, because we've been running research all over the world, and we see that there's a need for inspiring. And we'll share with you a couple of our steps. So this is the basis of why we are here, and we hope to get your questions, and this is not a one-day journey. It's just I would say a hello in our entire journey. And we hope that we can, together with Ms. Sani and Ms. Nusa, will be able to take it forward and build it up along with the blessings of Pak Polini. So we will be able to take it forward and make sure that we are there to support you at any point of time we need, whether it's technologically or whether it's in terms of capability that we rise. So with this, I will get to the start of our discussion. So when we normally arrange experiential sessions, we talk about the first thing. We talk about introducing something new. When we introduce something new, the kids are like, wow, oh, what's happening? They're all there. But very soon, and correct me on the floor, yeah, both of you. So very soon, what's the next one? What's the next one? Yes.
Opening up a section.
Very soon, they need to get into the attention mode, right? But the attention mode can only come if there are three components. They listen and they observe. Now, we all know that this is very challenging today because kids and the beta generation that's coming, that's even worse. The kids now don't have even a 5-minute memory attention span. Just keep running around left and right, and we've lost them. So it's going to be even worse. So for this, to get this into par, it's very critical that we do something. But once we've got their attention on board, I'm walking you through the cycle of engagement. Once we've got the attention on board, what happens next? Oh, they're looking. Oh my God. Not yet. Yeah, so there is a sense of a temporary phase. And this is the shortest period. It's so short that after a while, it goes into decay. And this continues unless we don't do something new. We have to introduce something new to change all of that. So the cycle of engagement starts very simple. You have to get the attention on board, and then attention creates excitement, but that excitement is very short-lived. Now the question here is, how do we keep, so this is, in order to keep engaging, you've got to keep everything alive and up. So now the question is, how do we do this? How do we keep every single bit and piece of the puzzle engaged and excited? Now there may be a few things that are missing. I've kept it purposely missing, because we are going to make this cycle of engagement much better together. Let's say a team FD and a Pakem teacher joint effort to build this cycle of excitement that we can actually put into thesis work and say this is where we want to start building it up. So when we have something new, of course the trick is listen and observe. But how do we extend this? How do we stress this even more? Any thoughts? Sir? I give it to you. Don't feel shy. It's like, there's no right and wrong.
I am from
Yes?
Oh, we can.
Okay, so that's a very interesting question. Your names.
My name is Rahman.
Okay, Pak Rahman. Yeah. So Rahman, that's a very interesting question.
I'm this.
He's a counselor teacher.
Oh, okay. So that's there, right? So one of the first things we need to even do to place that seed of attention, to get that attention, very difficult, is to ask, show something new, place a very vibrant thought on board that actually breaks their current flow. And this is very crucial. So we cannot start by asking, so for imagine we had the Global Citizen, right? Recently, and Global Citizen was a program we saw many kids would come and say, what is a Global Citizen? And then the kid says, what is a Global Citizen? The student sitting here says, because it's a challenging question. And so, in order for us to get here, we cannot just ask a question with what? We should inspire them by asking a question. Do you know that a global citizen, maybe a fun fact, and we should be able to get them to relate to their purpose, to their daily life. So we should start by saying, do you know if SpongeBob is a global citizen? And we know SpongeBob doesn't even exist, but not for them. If we want to go into their world, we must dive in. So it adds more value in what we do here. But once we've got their attention on board, the next important thing we need to do is to get them to explore. So now, after we have asked the question, we got to get them to ask us a question. This is the most exciting thing. I know Ms. Sunny was there, and Ms. Musa was also there. We did an experiment with the boot camp where all the kids were sitting and all the parents were sitting. And all the kids, they did a drama, a theater, and then the parents were in the other room and the parents came. We told the parents, you need to ask questions, but you can never give the answer. And in less than, I think, in less than 5 rounds, what was amazing is that, you remember what happened? The kids started asking the questions. And the kids started competing with all the parents to ask questions. So the moment they get to ask questions, it becomes exciting enough. However, the questions, we need to be able to say, your question is good or your question is bad. We need to give them instant feedback. So here we've classified this part into 3 questions: the what, the how, and the why. So if it's a what question, most of the time it will be boring. Like kids will ask you, what am I doing here? And we already know that the kids need help. So we need to tell them it's not about what you're doing here, but why are you here? What makes you come here? And we have to stretch their thinking a little bit beyond. And they can. And the last part, before we get into the DK, is to let them own the discovery. I heard some of you say that. The reason why this part is very crucial, discovery, is because I found something. I did it. So the moment we tell the kid, you do something, it is now. We had Pakadi, Pakadi from Mataskara. Pakadi was phenomenal. He was a genius. So Pakadi came and told us, hey, how come after 7 days and after 3 days of intense 8-hour boot camp, how can the kids still have energy? And Lynn responded to him saying, Pakadi, one of the reasons is probably because today the kids are doing the whole work. The kids are running the show. They feel empowered. They've discovered the power of many things, and they suddenly want to run the show. And this makes it very exciting for them because they are in control. They can navigate. And this, teachers, is the cycle or the wheel of engagement where we can do. Now, we did it across a 7-day research here. We also did it across a 7-day research in Bali. And the situation is more or less the same. It's always a similar before this we did in Vietnam, in Oman, in Malaysia, and it's always the same. And but it can be done in shorter time frames. It starts with the classes. And so this is where we wanted to bring your attention and thought to say the attention engagement is at every point of time very crucially built in. I'll pause for a bit here, and I will take some of your questions and thoughts, and I'll also get my colleague here to interact a little bit more to see what are your questions that we can build on.
Oh, right. Thank you. So, we would like to have your response, Bapak Ibu. Tadi disampaikan ada beberapa poin kaitannya dengan the engagement. How can the engagement there in our class? Ada dari bagaimana mendapatkan perhatian. Lalu setelah kita bisa mendapatkan perhatian, muncullah excitement itu sudah mulai ada di situ. Sebelum nanti decay, apa sih decay? Kayak ya udah ada di situ gitu ya. So it's like the final one. Yang disampaikan tadi ada discovery, dan yang menarik adalah yang selalu disampaikan Pak Polidi. Saat aku bisa, maka aku akan keep doing that. So it's not practicing first and then I'm able to do it, tapi when you feel that you can do it and then you feel it's like there you have your own excitement, and then what makes you do it again and again. So that's why tadi disampaikan pada saat bisa melakukan sesuatu, tendensinya anak-anak akan melakukan itu lagi dan lagi gitu. Adakah yang ingin direspon atau adakah pertanyaan kaitannya dengan engagement tadi, Bapak Ibu?
Mungkin ingin bahas saja ya, soalnya agak panjang. Jadi sebenarnya berbagi pengalaman aja, kayaknya sedikit tergabung dengan materi yang disampaikan hari ini. Jadi beberapa waktu itu lalu saya mengikuti pelatihan yang kemudian ada salah satu metode itu yang menurut saya lumayan ya, agak nyerempet dengan engage di ini. Dan di situ ada salah satu metode itu namanya ARKA gitu kalau di akronimnya. Betul, Indonesia we have so many acronyms, yes. And we call it ARKA, ARKA. Kemudian di situ activity, reflection, conceptuals, and activity. Nah, saya pikir ketika saya melaksanakan metode itu, ternyata engage di sini itu muncul karena awalnya itu diberi aktivitas dulu. Ketika aktivitasnya itu running, anak-anak merasa ada attention di situ, kemudian dia excitementnya muncul, kemudian dia nyaman dan merasa bahwa oh, aku ternyata bisa ya melakukan ini. Kemudian ketika kita beri pendalaman di bagian refleksi dan konseptualisasi itu, anak akan lebih bersemangat. Tapi memang ketika saya mencoba kemarin mempraktekkan ke anak-anak itu lebih enjoy gitu ternyata menggunakan metode itu. Mungkin itu yang saya coba bagikan gitu, Miss.
Thank you. Bu Arina is also a counselor teacher, grade 9. She has so many works. Really piling up. So she mentioned that, is it true? So she confirmed that actually when we give the activity first and then the excitement is there and the students feel the aha moment, the joyful learning is there. When it's like happiness and also feel like proud of doing something, and it makes them engage more.
So this is very true. Very true that you said the ARKA. The ARKA is a concept, a very key part of that. The aha moment is easier to achieve because the aha moment is your energy. If you are smiling, they're going to smile even more. They're going to like it. I'm surprised to see. I've been in many schools, but I see many students come and take your blessings and go. That means they love everybody. They come in and then they come in from far. In Bali, I saw one teacher being hugged by all the students, which was really amazing. That too was really touching for me, Mak Putu. So he was being hugged by everybody because he inspired them. And this means the energy level. So you can activate the excitement if you throw the energy out on board. But your energy need not be, because when you throw energy, it's very difficult to fill it back, right? Because there's many students. But how do you fill back? So the key part there is to identify some of the rebels. I'll tell you a very interesting story in Singapore. You know, Singapore in the late 50s, 60s was like a lot of gangsters there. You know, it was like everybody had a parang, they go together, the parang. So the minister, the leader, Lee Kuan Yew, he called up all the leaders of the cult, and he gave them very serious position in the community. And he said, honor your position and there's no problem. And if you can do it well, then I will reward you because you are making the whole position go well. And from that day, he using them as the leaders, no other problems happened. So if you can identify the troublemakers, the rebels, the extremists in your class, and you have a way to build their energy with them, they will be your champions. And that's what we've seen in many cases. We've also seen some rogues where the teacher came and said, oh, she's a troublemaker. But she turned out to be one of the best inside the Global Citizen Program because all they do is just come. And sometimes these extremists, or the high level of energy guys, they're just asking for why. What is my prayer? They don't want to listen to the routine, the what. So if you have that energy to one time deliver, it will change. The second part of that activation, to make sure it goes on, is the power of -1 in a playful way. So we did, you both saw the power of -1, where the students were throwing away their food in your gym, the gym room. So the kids were just throwing, the ambassadors were not carrying. And we said, those of you who throw your food gets -1. Those of you who don't eat your food get -1. Now the students, they know that we have a system that measures. They know we have body cams. They know we are talking, we are measuring it, and they were quick. And in fact, we have measurement techniques. We gamify the whole approach. And these kids love to compete in game. They love to compete and play such that on the last day, our team members introduced what's called the performance event. And everybody wanted to perform. 6 or 7 people said, I want to perform, but we don't have any gift to give them. And then I asked Ayaz and Anita and Sylvia, Cambodian, what do we do after that? How do we actually give them something? And Anita said, no need. They just want the +1, they just want the score. This is the power of the +1, provided we can build it in some way into the school recognition as the school reward system for those students who are really good. If that can be done, it can be done easily in technology today. Very easily, we demonstrated that. So we can build a lot of excitement and sustain that excitement too through the gamified application. But Miss, you spoke about something very, very critical. That is only sustained if we can review their reflection. Most of the time, the reflection is wasted. I wouldn't say wasted, it vanishes. They reflect and then it's forgotten. So if there is a way for us to hold those reflections, keep those memories on board, make it live, that's where we will be able to do that. And we can find ways to make that reflections alive with you. Today there are free technology like Padlet, where you can actually put those reflections on board and bring it out on board when kids need this. There's a lot of free technology available that you are able to do that pretty quick. So this is one of the ways that you have. I think we have a few more questions. I'd be more than happy to. Lynn, our also takes up them. Do you want to read the questions from here, Mr. Ahmed?
Yes.
We don't know who is the person.
Who's who?
Yeah, we don't know who's who.
Okay.
It's fine.
Let me choose. Anyone? Okay, let's start with. Okay, this one. It comes from Mrs. Lutina. Mrs. Lutina, could you please stand up?
That was supposed to be secret, sorry.
Okay, sorry. Okay, so Mrs. Lutina is the art teacher. She is very talented in dancing.
Oh, okay.
Could you please show us a bit of your hand gestures, if you don't mind? Thank you. So she asks about the practicality of ChatGPT and AI, and how can, when a student use the AI, how can we as a teacher manage ourselves, our roles to be a teacher, to be a meaningful teacher still, because with AI everything is there,
Yes.
right? That's the thing. And the question is, how can we keep appreciating the students with this help of AI regarding to their artwork?
Okay. So this is really beautiful. We were at PSBK yesterday, and we have PSBK.
Bagong Kusuma Padepokan.
Yes, sorry, I cannot pronounce the whole thing. We were there yesterday, and 2 months ago, we were also with Speechwords in Singapore. What they specialize in is drama, theatrical. So let's take a look at your question a little deeper. For ChatGPT, if you look at the world today, I was discussing with our new colleague, we were discussing with something interesting, ChatGPT and the human mind. When ChatGPT gets better, all the ChatGPTs around the world will have one voice. That's what it'll do. It'll focus on efficiency. When the human beings get better, we will have more different voices. This is what art can do. Because art enhances our ability to express, not in one way, but multiple ways. So art is invariably something that increases the number of variables in our mind. It gives us the ability to not say just 1, 2, 3 ideas, but 25, 35, 45 different ideas. Versus ChatGPT, over time, it's scary, when all the ChatGPTs in the world, and we've done researches on that, it combines, it'll give you one single answer. Which is scary, because that is not where you're missing out the human part of it. And this will always be there. So kids today have to understand that they should use ChatGPT to only train themselves. So coming back to what we use, for every dance movement, for every expression, for every gesture, we do use ChatGPT. But this time, we don't use ChatGPT to just say, all right, this is how the person looks, or this is what. We ask them to challenge. So if we can use kids, if we can get the kids to use ChatGPT to challenge the systems, they will get better and better. So like a training ground for them. And that is very quick. And for teachers, it can be used as a very quick evaluation technique. So for example, for speech words in Singapore, Malaysia, when they do drama, for the eye movement, eyeball movement, it captures a number of times, it captures the panic, it captures the confidence, it captures how the person is doing. So we don't even have to be there. The scalability of this operation is very huge. It goes to such an extent that yesterday, when we were in PSB car, we talked about the improv show. You know about the improv show, right? So in the improv show only captures 5 minutes of movement, artwork, but all of this is converted into mindset using AI tools. And that's where the children can be trained to say, watch out, add more training, add more gestures, add more. So there is a very huge component that we can actually build with. And one of the ways is on art. Not just in gestures, but also in painting, handwriting, all of this, where today we are using that actively. So some of our partners will send the pictures of their children's drawing, and we will be able to predict the exact mindset.
Oh, cool. Very cool. Oke. Bapak Ibu pernah lihat episodenya SpongeBob yang dia jadi Squidward ya? Ya, it's like tadi disebutkan kalau kita menggunakan AI, the answer will be uniform. Kayak semua akan sama gitu. Tapi pada saat the art is there, it helps the kids become more human. Gitu. Jadi tadi kayaknya memang sepakat. Terus yang kedua tentang tadi yang disebutkan di akhir adalah ternyata bisa kita identify is it the characters or the mindset. Jadi dengan gambaran anak-anak ataupun movement yang dia ekspresikan itu ternyata ada mindset yang bisa dimunculkan karena hasil analisisnya sudah sangat advanced gitu. Is it also AI too?
Yes. So today AI is doing that. However, AI is not able to do it as good as the teachers. So once the teachers identify this is the pattern, then AI can do the rest of the job. So AI is like your servant following instructions from you. So that can be done today at a very, very quick pace.
I think it's also it related to teachers' Mia question. Unfortunately, she is not here.
No
She is having another workshop. So she mentioned about how to assure the students that AI is a tool
Yes.
and how to train the students' critical thinking and problem solving.
So I'm going to give it to
The sensei.
The sensei, yes.
Yeah, so regarding AI topic, I would like to share something. So the first sharing come from me is from another educator in Hanoi, where I'm based in. So in one of the workshop, one of the talk show that we do also with educator in Hanoi, one of the educator, she's a lecturer for an MBA program, and she shared that, well, you know how I go to classroom today? I just come in, I give everyone 15 minutes to use AI, ChatGPT or whatever tool they have to learn the lesson today. I give the topic, I give what are the deliverables, they learn with AI, and then they will speak. So the educator make everyone speak in the class. She will not speak, but then after that, she will challenge. She will ask questions to the student. So the student will see that, oh, this is the things, the knowledge base, the foundation they can find in the internet. They can use AI to train themselves very quickly. But then after that, how they can respond to the question and the challenge that their teachers give them, that will become something that they have to earn and they have to go through the journey. So that becomes something very fun for her. So now she said that, oh, my job now is very easy. I just go to the class, I don't have to deliver the lessons. ChatGPT and AI already deliver it. But I just need to ask them questions. I just need to challenge them. And the beauty is that when she asks the question, she doesn't have the answer anyway. So she asks the question because she doesn't know the answer. So at the same time, she learned from all of the students. And you know that for the MBA's class and program, all the students are all the business owners, are all the managers, the leaders of the company. They come from all of the different industry, and they become the knowledge base for the teacher, for the educator themselves. So it's a beautiful way that we can see so far how educators and teachers can use AI and all of the technology to empower them and to empower their students as well. So in another talk, if I'm not wrong, I find it on YouTube or any other platform, video platform, that the trainer, the coach that asks all of the members, the students that, okay, for this, we are going to do this, but for this activity, I need 30 ideas from you guys. Why 30? Because the first 20 ideas you can easily find on ChatGPT, tool, internet, and all of the obvious answers you can find there. The first 20. So now when it comes to the 21st, they already have to think. And they have to already go through all of the other 20 to find what is missing there. To the 22nd until the 30 is where they stretch their mind to find the ideas, to connect all the dots, and to find a different perspective into the activity. So come back to the question, how we can make students believe that AI and technology is just a tool. Then here, there are some practice that you can already immediately apply into your activities. So now you already have a bank of idea for your activity at your class to empower yourself and to engage better with the student and make the student believe that tools and AI are just something that help them along the way. It's not something that can define how they want to move themselves in the future. So now you already maybe have 10, 20, 30 ideas. So now it's come back to your turn to think about what's next. What is the 31st idea? What is the 32nd idea that you have to bring on board? So we are here all together. I believe that we have the power enough to move that numbers up and up all the time. We need to come back what is there, what is missing. When we combine, when we co-create it all together, then it becomes something very new for all of us. And it will be something very unique that only Pakem school can have in your ecosystem. That you can make yourself a pioneer in the education industry in Yogyakarta, in Indonesia, to have to bring this into practice. Maybe every month you have one teacher for room, you combine everyone, challenge, problem, ideas, then we co-create with each other. We combine, we connect all of these ideas. It's like we combine, we connect all of the mind that we have here in your school to make something even bigger.
There is a very interesting part with the 30-second stretch question.
The most important part with the 30-second question, when the kid or the child asks the 30-second question to the AI, then the kid will see, oh, I defeated the AI. And when they defeat the AI, in their mind, AI becomes a tool automatically. That's a psychological impact. So no longer would they depend on AI because they know, I know better than AI anyway. And that's where the training actually starts.
Can I go on with
Yes,
this?
yes, please.
Any volunteers from the teachers? Okay.
Okay, thank you very much for the time, and thank you also for the article, and I already read one of the article, and it really interesting for me because in the part when it says layer in tech as a bridge, not a distraction, and then one of the point which is interesting for me, it says that focus on how tech extends human connection, not replaces it. Well, I guess it's a bit different based on what I found in real life teaching, because based on my experience as a teacher, okay, when I observe the students in the classroom when they are given task by a teacher to have discussion with the other students in group, I see most students indeed use technology in doing the activity. And I also can see that technology really helps them to gather information from various sources quickly. But because of that thing, students really rely on the technology rather than discussing it with their group mates. And I can say that because of that, the role of technology here doesn't really extend the human connection. Instead, it makes communication among students feel less likely happen. And my question is, how will teacher face this technology in education? Okay, that's my question. Thank you.
We'll give you a live example of what we did last week. So last week we asked everybody a question on how will you be able to identify problems. So they all went inside AI and then they started listing down all the problems. We also asked them, how does the bank work? So they were just listing down AI. Actually, at the moment they finished the AI activities, they just sat there because they know it's AI that's doing it. But now we went around and we went and said, hey, It's not enough for you to get the AI on board. You have to find out each person has to now give an extra point, and then you need to make more points on board. What the AI has not given you. So imagine AI has given you 5 points, 10 points. Now you need to give 10 other points, and each person gets a score. This created a huge change impact because they know that for sure I can get it from AI, but if it's on AI, it's already listed and people can see. And we've already declared this is on AI. So now they have to go back and give the right list. Yes, they did go and also looked at other AI, build up, tried to build up, but each time it came, we said, what is your discussion? What is your engagement? And this was reiterated a couple of times, till at the end, one of the kids said, oh, I easily challenge AI, and I can actually get things, I'm talking to my friends. The discussion, therefore, is not about the number of solution, but the depth of the solution. And that comes only through discussion. Because AI does not necessarily give you the journey. AI gives you the end state. If you ask AI to break a story and tell you, at the end, happy ending. So it's what it does most of the time. So this, the students will be able to challenge you. You need to add something.
Yeah, there's one point that I want to share that is exactly what we are doing right now in our organization is that when we evaluate the student, there are a few criteria. So we are measuring how much effort they put in the work. The more effort they put in, the more score they get. What is the quality, the depth of their thought process? If there's a depth, then they get more points. If it's just on the surface level that everyone else can give the same answer, they have less point or even 0 or even minus if they copy paste from somewhere else. The third one is the timeliness, how fast, how quick they can deliver. Of course, it will be hard to consider the effort they spend and also the quality of the work. What is the feedback? 360-degree feedback from others. So let's say if the student make this product, they do this work, then the feedback should not come only from teachers. It must come from other teachers as well. If it's an artwork, how about the literature teachers' feedback about this? How about the math teacher feedback about this? How about the science teacher feedback about this? So it shows the application of knowledge that the student are able to bring on board. How about the other team member in their team feedback about this? So now you will see that, oh, this is a teamwork, but student A contribute only 20% on it. Student B contribute 50% on it. And student C, D, E, F. So you know that who contributes the most of the work into the teamwork if it's a team presentation or if it's a team evaluation. And then we will also evaluate the application of knowledge, meaning that how they combine different knowledge, that they have so far into this new work. Do they apply the same knowledge, just copy and paste, or they are able to co-create with different ideas? How about if it's a literature homework, how they bring math into it, how they bring art into it, how they bring music, drawing, science into it. Is there any combination of knowledge that they show here? And next, we also evaluate the impact of their work. How many people benefit from this work? So for example, it's a homework about a science product, then how many people benefit from this? What is the how to say it, the sustainability? No, the long impact. What is it called? Yeah, the longevity of the work. If it's a one-time impact or it's a short-term impact, long-term impact that the work can have on the other members. And also, is this going to be sustainable or is this one-off event? So the impact of the work that the student demonstrate, it should be also considered into their score system, their evaluation. And yeah, there are few criteria that we less on work based on the nature of our work, but based on the nature of your work, your class, your student, you also will be able to adjust or add in or eliminate few of them. So there must be a 360, always a 360 evaluation that we put in so the student know that, oh, my work are not evaluated only by this number or that number.
Alright, okay. Tadi dijelaskan sedikit bagaimana bisa kita memastikan setelah tadi disinggung Miss Novita tentang disrupsi, tentang distractions gitu, bagaimana AI itu malah justru tidak membantu untuk anak-anak berkolaborasi gitu ya. Bahkan kalau diskusi diem-diem, karena mereka diskusinya dokumennya typing, so they discuss more into, because they're having the same Google Docs, they just silent and there's like no communication going on in class, right? And tadi disampaikan ada 3 poin pada saat ditambahkan oleh yang tadi. Kita bisa melihat pertama effortnya, seberapa usahanya mereka. Kedua tentang jadi kedalaman ini, kalau anak ditanya kok dia bisa jawab, jawabnya dia bisa lebih rinci, berarti dia benar-benar tahu, dia own the idea. Terus tanya seberapa cepat dia. Terus disinggung tentang multidisciplinary yang baru kita laksanakan teman-teman di kokurikuler ya, karena kita ternyata satu produk itu bisa untuk beberapa mata pelajaran, dan yang terakhir adalah tentang impact atau benefit yang produk dari anak-anak hasilkan, seberapa impactful, seberapa beneficial, dan untuk jangka panjangnya seperti apa. One thing which is also interesting is that actually now I'm just realizing that prompt of questions in the classroom is very important, right? It's also questions from Mr. Juan, the gym man. He's not here. He's having his research class. So this school has an obligatory extracurricular program called Student Research. So he is one of the mentor there. And Mr. Juan is asking about type of questions that you might bring to the class. But actually, he mentioned about Singapore, because maybe he thinks that you guys are from Singapore. But could you please share like the question format from the school, so that it can enlighten the students' creativity, critical thinking, and so on and so forth. Thank you.
So
I recently took a look at the PSLE. A PSLE is the Public School Leaving Examination question. It's a 6th grade, like you call it, so they call it PSLE, which is basically your P6, 6th grade question. And in this question, they ask a very interesting type of calculations. They ask, if you are leaving the house now and you are going, let's say, very cool and casual, you are not rushing, and you are seeing a postman on the way, you stop 5 minutes to buy things, and you do this and you do that, what time do you reach school? So you see, it's very subjective, right? So they had a lot of subjective questions to make the people think. A lot of questions, but again, it quantifies. All the subjective answer quantifies. So for us, what we do is we break the questions into 3. Like I mentioned, the what question, the how question, and essentially the why question. So there's a lot of priority and prominence given to the why question in the way that is crafted, especially for us. Now, one of the very interesting things on how we can build and challenges, we give, every time a why question comes on board, we get the kids to ask other kids questions. So for example, we do a round robin. So in Singapore, one of the typical ways we look at it is when we step into a class, we say, okay, I will ask the first student a question. And then I step back. Then I can just relax. The first student has to in 30 seconds respond, and ask another question to the next student.
Is it the same questions or?
Different question. It has to be different. If it is the same question, then that student loses score. In fact, we make it, you owe the other person 10,000 rupiah or 5,000 rupiah. We joke about it, saying you owe them lunch. You get minus scores. So there's one person scribbling the score, and it goes on for 15 to 20 minutes. It has to finish very quickly. There's a time taker, and the person keeps around all the time very quickly. And then it's not always done everywhere, but some of the schools do engage in very, very exciting form of quick, short burst round robins. And we, during our training programs, all our training programs, we do this. Which means we get in and tell, okay, it's your turn to ask a question, you've got 30 seconds, you ask a question, and the next question goes in. If the question is repeated, they get the score. You have to pay the person who's asked the question. So sometimes, and you have to call out the person's name. So this makes it exciting because we will not tell who to call out. So they will say, okay, Mr. Vida, or they will say, okay, Ms. Noza. So they will decide on who to speak. So this makes the power in the end, and that drives a very huge level of engagement and excitement.
It's very interesting for the what, how, and why question, because when you ask the student question, or when they ask you question, you will be able very quickly in your mind to map what type of student is this. Is this a why student? Is this a what student? Or is this a how student? So if a why student, you cannot just tell them do A, B, C, step 1, step 2, step 3, because they are not persuaded, they are not convinced in why it's matter for them, why it's important, and why they have to do that. But for the how student, it doesn't matter why it happened, you just need to tell them exactly what they need to do. But eventually, you know that you will have to direct the thought process back to the why first. So it's a very interesting practice for us when we ask everyone question, and when we ask everyone to ask us question, to see who is more of the why person, who is more of the how person, who is more of the what person.
When we run some programs, we do that every week, we run some programs every week, so at any point you want to listen in to some of this, we can invite you to join in, just listen in, or you want to see how that is being done. That can be done as well.
And talking about effort, Bapak Ibu and Dave, I want to introduce you to one of the teachers here. What efforts look like. So here Mrs. Lisa is actually recording all the time to make sure that she knows everything. And everyone, I think they have different style of taking a note, and that's how we see effort, everybody, and how we see the creativity is here, right? So we do appreciate it, and right.
We do that too. So
Okay, perfect. And it might be like two last questions, and I will be moving on to the civic teachers here. Right.
on the right side.
Will be asking the questions? Okay, okay. So Bu Eki is a civics teacher here and asking about how we implement, how can the students aware of the rights. What can we do and what can we not do in the school? And I think it more or less relates to characteristics, right? How we shape, or how we like to mold the students to be the like nationalists, or to be creative and so on.
So I'll tell you the story of YB. YB is a Vietnamese boy. He's 14 years. So YB does not like children. So YB is the head of the Global Citizen Program every week. So YB has been doing the program for 2 years. Every week, dedicated, prepare an article, come, deliver the article, and then go back. But in January this year, he started missing. So my team was panicking. My team called up and said, hey, YB is your protege. You recommended YB. Why is he missing? What are you going to do about it? I was in a mom that time, and I called up Vivi and I said, Vivi, what is happening? And Vivi said, oh, you know, maybe I want to stop this program because I got many things to do. But actually, Vivi is going into a teenage year. As a teenage student, he doesn't like to be with the younger children, he likes to be with the older children. So we understand that. So I told Vivi, but Vivi, your performance is not being good. But if you want to leave, it's your choice. And the team sees your performance not good. You want to still leave? He said, yeah, maybe I want to leave. Bye-bye. I said, okay, no problem. You can write a message to the team and tell them bye-bye. So we work on Telegram most of the time. So he wrote a message to the team saying, thank you so much for your support for the last 5 years. Now it's time for me to go. Bye-bye. See you. And he's almost getting up. So I called his mother after that and I asked her, how do you feel? So before Vivi left, he asked me a question. Can you allow me to step down? Can you give me reduced work? Or do you want me to do the same work? I said, I want you to do more work. Not the same work, not reduced work. Because you are progressive. You must be able to do more work. If not, you don't talk to me. So that is why he said, I want to leave, bye-bye. So when he wrote the message to the team, I called his mother and I said, how do you feel? So she said, my son has been here for a very long time. I see his progress and I am super happy about it, but I'm sad. I'm sad that he's leaving. So I said, give him the phone, please. So again, we called him back on board and said, okay, how do you feel, Vivi? And Vivi said, I feel sad, but DAD, only if you allow me to do less work. If you allow me less work, I can come. I said, Vivi, let me ask you a question. Imagine you have an uncle, and your uncle is in a very senior position in the company. After many years, he retires and goes. Now, there are two things that will happen. During his work, he keeps failing every time. And when he fails every time, he decides to leave. That's one. Second story is, he works hard, he has to retire, he gives the work to somebody else, and then he goes. Who would you salute to? Who would you respect? Who do you think other people would respect? And this was a major question for him. He asked me immediately, what should I do? Because I already told the team I'm going, but I have not been performing well. So everybody will know that I am running away. I am a scared leader. And scared leader is not what I want to be. I want to face it again. I said, we will help you face it. Don't worry. So the good thing in Telegram is you can pull back the message. So we asked him to pull the back message and delete the word, I will not join, to I will join every day. So he changed the message and he said that. And from January to November, or October, it's not, he was always leading the show. And his job was to find other ambassadors and train them to go. So if you want to look at how do we provide children the guidance, it has to be going back to our moral compass. If they've committed, then we need to hold them to the commitment. If they have slipped the commitment, then we need to find out why they're not committed. And if they do not want to commit, then we need to find out, are they afraid? If they're afraid, we have to support them. And this is very crucial in whatever civic duty that we can provide. But there's also another place where people will say, oh, I don't know. We tell them to articulate to such an extent that it becomes yes or no. There is no maybe. So the more deeper the yes and no is, the stronger the civic and the moral compass. I've seen this very strong with the military guys. Because for them, it's yes or no. There's no two-way. But when you come to the generic population, it tends to be, even in Singapore, okay, yes, maybe no, but then that triggers our moral compass. And today, the children want certainty. So this is where it is very important to ground them on yes or no answers. That's all.
Oke, tadi disebutkan tentang komitmen Bu Eki, bagaimana bisa follow the rules, bagaimana bisa tahu itu buruk dan tidak, the rights, hak-hak mereka juga melalui bertanya kembali, apakah dia komplit atau tidak? Jika memang tidak, digali lagi kenapa bisa seperti itu? Apakah karena takut ataupun ada alasan yang lain? Jika sudah ditemukan, waktunya kita hadir untuk support. Lalu ada tentang negosiasi dan kompromi tadi, tapi mungkin itu hadir pada saat tadi mau menggali kenapanya itu tadi. Jadi that's how, bagaimana memperkenalkan hukum secara sederhana ke siswa-siswa. We're going to have the last question before the conclusions. Any questions, Bapak Ibu, langsung atau respon dari boleh dari topik ini atau yang masih relate ke teknologi dan pembelajaran di dalam kelas. Misalnya,
Boleh.
Terima kasih, mohon maaf baru bisa bergabung mengajar kelas 9 ini. Terkait dengan teknologi mungkin bisa berbagi kisah nih terkait dengan penggunaan teknologi khusus para SMP dan SMP. Kalau secara riset awal seyogianya itu SMP belum diberikan semacam teknologi yang terlalu cepat, ya, iPad dan semacamnya, karena mereka gagap alias kaget ini berapa, untuk apa dan apa manfaatnya. Tapi sekolah ini sudah harus berlari. Nah, anak-anak ini mengalami kaget yang luar biasa sehingga timbullah kegaduhan. Apa itu? Anak-anak belum bisa menggunakan dengan baik. Nah, mungkin dari bapak atau ibu bisa memberikan pandangan apakah ini sudah tepat anak SMP ini diberikan teknologi yang cepat, apakah nanti bisa bermanfaat ke depannya atau justru bisa membuat mereka semakin jauh dari namanya pendidikan dan kesuksesan, ya. Dan mungkin yang kedua, apakah di Singapura ada semacam punishment bagi anak yang menggunakan teknologi berlebihan, ya, misalnya dibanting maksudnya, ya, dibanding iPad-nya misalnya orang tua dirusak. Jadi punishment hukuman bagi anak yang tidak menggunakan teknologi dengan bijak. Thank you.
Thanks, Chair. So Anand is an Indonesian language teacher, grade 7, and he just finished the extra class. So some of the teachers is actually having the extra class right now. Just finished 10 minutes ago, and the questions is about the students. The second one is the restrictions. The first is about the students is actually digital native, but they are not digital literate, right? The fact is that is that common if the junior high student use the technology like the iPads like we're having now, because it considers like not all Indonesian students are having in the same one, and we started to have that one step before others. And the second one is about the restrictions. Is there any like punishment to the students or to the children who do not use the technology wisely?
So I will try to respond to the second question first. And I'll probably once all the questions so we can come up. So with the second restrictions, I know in Singapore, they have a restriction called MBA. So MBA, which is basically, I will send you the detail that's in the group. It's an app that overrides all the iPads. So for example, in a secondary school or a primary school, the students will have an app restricted saying playtime, screen time. So basically, if they want to install, let's say, Canva, they cannot. If they want to install Telegram, they cannot. If they want to install WhatsApp, they cannot. Because the MBA will block all these apps. It's a super app that is installed by the school system that says
Any app will not be allowed during the school academic year. Not only during the period, but throughout, which means the only things they can use is PDF for reading, all their electronic homeworks that they use, okay, keyboards or tablets, any of the critical apps related to education. But all the social media like TikTok, all of that is removed. Even if they install it, once they install the NBA app, I will check the name of that app. I've heard this many times. Once they install the NBA app, it flashes off. Everything gets automatically cut off. You cannot use it. So even if you like, I've seen kids come back and say, I don't have it. So the parents will say, sorry. They buy it with their money, but they cannot do anything because the school puts an app saying you cannot use it. This was to prevent unnecessary usage of social media and other content. Now, in addition to this, the app is also capable of doing a screen time, which means during school hours from 7 o'clock in the morning to all the way to I think 4 or 5.
We start at 6:15
Yes.
and ends at 3.
Yeah, so I mean, I'm saying there is a shift, but even for this, they will switch off all the other non-critical apps. So which means you can, in school time, only use a certain set of apps. I will confirm the exact app they use and the process they use, but they already do this, and there is this technology available because they're doing it. Now, that's the part with the restriction. I don't see anybody use punishment, though. I've seen that some of the, let's say, online bullying or online excessive threatening, use of illegal content, that's been the counselors, and I think that the school also calls them individually to explain to them that it's not allowed and how they need to very sensitively handle it. So that's been handled on a daily basis. I cannot comment on that because I'm not an expert or I'm nobody to do that. But this is what I've seen happen in many of the schools or many of the systems. But I can come back and check and let you know what is the app they use that allows them to overload or override all the other apps. Could you tell me what is the first question? So that I thought it was very similar, but
Yeah, the first question is about digital literate. Yet they are not able to control somehow how to use it properly.
yes. So one of the things that we see is kids are very quick in navigating, they're able to get it done, but if you tell them to build up something, they're not able to do. So I've seen, even in Malaysia and in some other countries, they start building up STEM workshops. STEM, science, technology, so engineering and mathematics. What they do is they start to do teach hubs, games. They tell them, you build the games. And now the kids have to go back and learn how it's done. But also, along with this initial gaming part, there is a statement that is made, or rather an awareness that is created that AI or technology makes you a super person. But now, with your superpower, you also have to be super responsible. And so for this, you have to go through a certain set of programs and concepts and conduct to make sure they know there is a literacy to say do's and do nots in the digital world. So there are a lot of kids who come back and say, no, you cannot do that. For example, in Telegram, one of the first things they will do is, they will say, please hide your phone number. Because we do not want the kids to expose the phone number so that other people can do hacking, can do any form of illegal stuff. So one of the very important things is online security. And therefore we tell them, please be careful about and we also tell, do not share your ID, do not share your phone numbers, and we've done some tests. We went to the students and said, hey, can you share with me your number? And the kids would come back and say, sorry, you have to approach the school or approach the legal guardian if you want. And this was a test of the literacy in terms of what is the extent of what they will do. I'm sure they still do some fun things, which we cannot necessarily control all the time, but I believe this helps them to understand better.
Okay.
Sorry.
Fine. So the first adalah tadi dikenalkan ada satu app nanti akan dicek lagi MBA or something, itu bisa
I think it's
MBA, oh, MGA, ya MGA, yang bisa langsung mendeteksi kalau ada unnecessary applications langsung gak ada. Mungkin itu akan jadi hal yang kita patut coba ya Pak ya. Terus yang kedua, punishment tidak ada, tapi ya nggak ada punishment. Tapi tadi disampaikan ya kemungkinannya malah justru punishment sosial pada saat being addiction atau nanti mungkin ada muncul isu di cyber, itu kan berarti malah justru prone ke kejadian yang seperti itu. Mungkin itu juga bisa disebut sebagai konsekuensi ya, konsekuensi yang buruk ya pada saat mereka getting addicted gitu. Terus yang kedua tentang digital literate tadi, memang betul, tapi ada satu quotes tadi yang disampaikan, kita yakinkan ke anak-anak, when you have this gadget means that you're very powerful. Kalian itu kuat loh, kalian itu sangat bisa melakukan banyak hal. Tapi kayak it's like what Batman says, right? With great powers, you have like great responsibility. Jadi kamu itu super, tapi kamu juga punya tanggung jawab yang super juga, yang more than that. Gitu. Okay, is there any response Bapak Ibu sebelum kita di final remarks?
And we actually measure them. So we measure the awareness by asking questions. Is it allowed when we do some tests? And that's what allows us to know where they are on their digital awareness level.
Oke, dan ternyata setiap temuan itu berdasarkan pengukuran karena mereka punya measurement sendiri. Ini mungkin yang menarik ya. Kok bisa tahu ya seberapa responsibel dan bagaimana? It's actually the last question, and you can also go on with the final remarks about the measurement.
Okay.
And how you measure like some characteristics of like responsibility.
I will start with it. So today, if you want to measure a very simple, let's say,
I will let Lynn do that, but I will just start with saying, today if you want to measure a simple thing like, do you think this person will be corrupt? Corruption. So to measure corruption, we do two measurements. We talk about the need for power. If a person is very, very impressive, wants power, we say, okay, let's keep that as a measurement. The second, we say a person is lazy, doesn't do work. When you combine these two metrics, it's very important, very easy to say how to measure is a person is lazy or not. And then a measurement to say, does a person want power or not? A kid, a child. So a child who expresses the need to be in power, but at the same time lazy, do not want to be like a diva queen. Okay, say, like a boss, yeah? They have a tendency to abuse the systems. And we can measure that very easily. But also other characteristics, very deep. I'll let them explain that.
For the measurement and the evaluation is kind of a little bit complicated, but I just want to make it quicker and easier for you to start with. It could be that for every trait, you will need to define how the trait is. So define it means you need to look at if the student behave this way, then they may have this trait. If they behave in a certain another way, if the way that they solve problems, if the way that they behave, how they treat the friends, how they make decisions, they may be able to fall into another category. So what we are doing right now, even us individually, we are not able to do that because it's a characteristic, personality, and all of the mindset traits are kind of how to say is a multi-dimensional that we will not be able to capture only one slide of it. That's why we bring in the 360 evaluation. It means that the evaluation and the observation is not only from one role, it is not only from the teachers, but also their friends, also from their parents. Because we teachers, we can see them only maybe 1 hour of the class during the classroom, but their friends are there more time with them. The parents will see them in a different environment. maybe the friend from different clubs, from different schools, will see them also from different viewpoints. So from all of these observations, you will be able to see what are the repetitive traits, what are the patterns in their behavior, in the way that they make decisions, in the way they behave. Then you will have more or less ideas about what is the character that they demonstrate. So for us, we have our own framework that we built in-house, and we have our own mechanism to capture and to evaluate it just from the observation that everyone provides. So during the boot camp, we also use it. We have a very simple app that allow everyone to evaluate everyone else. So the parents will be able to evaluate the children of someone else, of other parents. So, and the kid will be able to give their own perspective about how they think about this parent, this ambassador, this teammate, this team leader from the other team. So all of these observation is purely observation. For example, today when I get into the school, I see this kid being here very early in the morning and very eager. Today I go to the class and I see this student being there, and they are already ready to ask me the question, what should I do today? So all of these observation is a candid moment that each of the member in the entire ecosystem will be able to capture. And by the load of the system will be able to analyze in a bigger picture what are the traits, what are the patterns, what are the things that is there sometimes and not there sometimes. So we know that in this environment they show up this trait, but in another environment they may not show up that trait. So the question is why? So it come back to our research and psychologist team to work along with the system and AI and technology to evaluate who they are today and who compared to who they want to be in the future. What is the gap and what makes the gap and how we can help them to fill up the gap. So it's a little bit complicated. Maybe if we have time, we can provide you some more articles to read on. We talk about sensors, like the way they ask questions will show something that they are concerned about. The way they perform in the public will show something else. The way they respond to job question, the way they do their homework will show something else. So for us, there's no linear pathway for evaluating or measuring the characteristic of the trait of the student. It's all come from multiple fields, and sometimes even us, we do not have enough field to evaluate the student, so we have to create some kind of role plays, or we create some simulation, we create a different environment for them to show up, to demonstrate more or different traits, and then we have few more feet to see which one. So for this topic, I think that we can provide more reading article so you can read at your own time, you can ask more questions, you can take that methodology, apply it into your classroom and see how it goes, and then you will have more idea about what could be applied, what is not there. You can ask us questions and we'll be more than happy to give you more feedback, response and answer on your situation that you are facing.
Okay. Jadi ternyata sama.
Is here. Thank you. Ternyata sama Bapak Ibu, cara penilainya adalah dengan indikator. Kalau tadi disebutkan ini potensial jadi koruptor atau tidak ya, ternyata salah dua traitsnya adalah dia agresif, tapi dia agresif dan dia pemalas. Jadi kalau kita udah temukan itu, bibit-bibit itu kemungkinan besar akan jadi koruptor. Jadi menilai characters itu 360 assessment atau observations. Bisa dilakukan oleh teachers, bisa dilakukan oleh peers-nya, bisa dilakukan oleh orang tua yang lainnya, dan sifatnya kita lihat patterns atau pola. Dan yang disampaikan tadi adalah ternyata bagaimana anak merespon dan bagaimana anak bertanya itu mengartikan sesuatu. So they are how they respond, they are how they ask questions gitu. Jadi nanti akan disampaikan beberapa artikel yang mungkin bisa membantu kita untuk bisa mengelaborasi topik ini. Gitu. We're going to have the final remarks from both of you. As I think we do really excited to have another following session, and it might be it's not a bye, but it's like a see you soon, very soon.
Thank you so much. We are excited as well because we are working with educators around the world, from America, from Singapore, from Malaysia, from Vietnam, and we're hoping that we can bring Pakem 4, the teachers of Pakem 4, to join me, work with everybody, so we can cross-collaborate, cross-feed, and build more ideas and thoughts. So when we do boot camps in other countries, we will extend the invitation to all of you, for sure. And when we bring teachers here, we will be sure to bring them as well here, so we can actually see
And
the
bring us
workforce.
there.
And bring you there, yes, of course. If we have a chance, we will for sure, because we are really excited with this. So right now we have a lot of area we're covering, and I see there's a lot of opportunity. For now, probably the initial ones we will be online to gear up that capability. So I would think that we could really do a weekly, monthly, or bi-monthly catch-up and take a look at where we go from there. And we'll have reading materials. So the more questions you ask, the more the integration. And we also request you to go to the reports that your students have, so you can ask more questions on our reports and disability. Thank you so much for your time and
Bapak Ibu boleh bertepuk tangan sekali lagi untuk JJ. Thank you so much. Terima kasih juga Bapak Ibu sampai pukul 15.57. Terima kasih atas kesediaannya, kehadirannya. Terima kasih atas apresiasinya juga. Saya bisa melihat betul-betul siapa yang turut hadir untuk memperkuat pembelajaran bahasa Inggris juga, dan juga bagaimana kita peduli tentang mindset yang ada dalam pribadi masing-masing murid kita. Untuk mengakhiri, tadi kita tidak berdoa ya, untuk to end this session, let's have a little prayer together, shall we? Amen. Terima kasih Bapak Ibu. Do we need a photo session before we go? Okay. Alright, so Pak Diogo is also superpower. He has a superpower because he knows everything in the school.